We're using our filet, but we may need a little bit extra. I'm half Colombian, half Chinese. Definitely a lot of Chifa influence in my cooking. Chifa is essentially the amalgamation of Peruvian spices and flavors in combination with a lot of Chinese ingredients. Soy sauce, scallions, ginger, a wok. When those two meld together, you get great results. Let's see what we have here. Ooh. That's a nice porterhouse right there. You got your strip steak, you got your filet, and yeah, it's gonna be delicious. All right, for this specific recipe, we're gonna need a little bit more meat. Thankfully, we have some on the side. What we're gonna do is take it off the bone. We'll use the filet for the Lomo Saltado. This is a little bit more tender. And we'll use the strip for trimmings for the beef stock. As you can see here, the marbling on this steak is much more pronounced, so it has a bit more flavor. For the filet, you don't see that marbling. It's a muscle that's not used as much, which lends itself to tenderness. Don't throw this out. There's a lot of flavor in the marrow and the fat, so we're gonna include this in our stock. Scallions. For this particular part, we only need the scallion whites, so maybe we'll end them there. And we can give this just a little chop in half. Same for our ají amarillo. These look beautiful. And we don't have to worry about de-seeding. Just take them out, cut them into nice, manageable segments. If you can only find ají amarillo paste, that's a wonderful substitute. I just really like that charred flavor of the skin that only really comes with the fresh ones. We're trying to recreate the heat from a wok hay, and although we have a normal burner that's not gonna get anywhere close in terms of BTU, we're gonna try to replicate that by letting our pan preheat a lot. You don't wanna add your oil too quick, otherwise it's going to burn. Here we have some Roma's tomatoes. Just going to give this a rough chop. This is our beef tallow. So what you're looking for here is sort of that shimmer and ripples, almost just about there. You might also see some smoke coming out. That's a really good indication that your pan is hot enough to start cooking. Be generous with the salt. What we're looking for is a nice little charred color. Keep them moving, but when you're on an induction like this, you want to make sure you're not tossing too much, otherwise you're not making direct contact with the pan and then it's not heating up. We can speed things up. Ají amarillo segments, scallion whites and tomato. All right, now on to our beef stock. A nice pot that's big enough. You want to be sure to add all of our aromatics, cilantro, beef stock, soy sauce, red wine vinegar, some oyster sauce. And finally, our T-bone and whatever scraps and beef trimmings that you have. Now we have everything in, I'm gonna put this off to the side, let it come up to a boil for an hour, let it cool, then we'll come back to it. So this is another step that's not traditionally necessary for a Lomo Saltado, but because we're taking it up another level, we're gonna add this garlic ginger confit. We got our pan nicely heating up. While that's getting ready, we're gonna get our Vitamix. And we're gonna go in with our whole garlic cloves, ginger, and we're going to go just under with oil. Let it come together, then we can speed it up. Listo, let's see what we're looking for. It's gonna go for 30 minutes total. You're gonna give this stirring about every 5 minutes, making sure you're scraping the bottom so it doesn't burn. It's gonna take time, so be patient. What you're left with is a very reduced, intensified flavor with this beautiful, beautiful amber color. So this is done. What we can do is let it cool slightly, put it in a container, and it's good to go for up to 6 months in the fridge. Okay, so this portion, we are gonna make our salsa criolla, which is a traditional onion salad that's pickled, and it's gonna also lend itself really well to this dish because it adds a lot of acid and vibrancy to offset a lot of the strong flavors coming from the stir fry. All right, we'll get our onions into our bowl. Now, depending on the spiciness level, you can go with 1 jalapeno, 2 jalapenos. We're just gonna go with 1. I wanna use a red one because it's gonna be nice color. So really gently, I wanna get as thin as possible. We also have some fresh cilantro. Get nice, fine, consistent cuts. Probably gonna go with 2 limes. There we go. Very simple salsa criolla. You can put this in the fridge while we make our arroz and papas. If we're talking Chifa and Peruvian cuisine, we gotta include the potato. Papa, of course, originates from Peru. I think over 8,000 varieties, but it's an integral part of this dish. What we did here was we parboiled them to speed up the process a little bit, cooled them down. Now we're gonna cut them to size and refry. I like them kind of rustic and thick, about the same thickness there. So we'll fry in batches. All right, so while our French fries are finishing, we are going to get started on our rice because there's no such thing as too much starch, especially when you're talking to Latinos. We're gonna get ahead and just mince up a little bit of garlic and give them a light little smash. We're gonna intensify and fortify all those beef flavors with a little bit more of our beef tallow. Give that a nice mix, and our unwashed rice is gonna go straight in. Let that come together for another minute, continuously mixing. Let all the oil basically cover all the grains. And now, looks like our fries are just about ready. So now what we do is we let this come up to a boil, turn it down to low, cover it, and let it cook for 20 minutes. All of our water has evaporated. Just wanna fluff our rice up a bit. And we're gonna set it off to the side. Okay, final step is to now get our stir fry ready. So just have a few quick ingredients. Some red onion, some scallion, and some whole ají amarillo. Just go nice little, these will just do small rough chop. You can decide to leave the seeds in or out if you'd like. More seeds means más picante. So for our purposes, let's use half. So half deseeded and half with the seeds. Listo. All right, so while our pan is getting super, super hot, we'll add a little bit of beef tallow. And we gotta season our filet. So salt, black pepper, and a little touch of cumin. Give that a nice little mix with your hands. Make sure you separate so that each can contact the pan. Develop a nice little crust. So in traditional preparation, you would be using a wok, which would be super, super hot, and the order of these would change. But because we're cooking in a home kitchen and we're using a cast iron and an induction, order really matters. So searing off your beef is really important, locking in all that flavor. Everything else is gonna happen super quick, 2 minutes or less. Now these are about halfway done. We can start gently tossing, and we're not gonna remove them. They're gonna continue cooking. Okay, now it's time to add all of our ingredients. We're gonna go in with a little bit of that ginger puree that we made. Red wine vinegar. Important to put it on the edges so that it can really caramelize. Go in with our soy sauce. This is the reduced beef stock that we had made earlier with the trimmings, cilantro, a lot of aromatics, a lot of ají amarillo and garlic. Tenemos los papas fritas. If you're Peruvian, you're gonna save half to keep crispy, and half of them are going right in. To help thicken things, very similar to French cooking where they would make a flour and butter mixture, Orrù. We have the same exact thing, but in a cornstarch and water slurry. Equal parts. Make sure you always add your water first, then your dry component. And this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna stick to the bottom, so you always gotta sort of reinvigorate it before you add it in. We're gonna go in with just a touch to start, and you'll start seeing how it's gonna come together. Let's get plated. Make sure you get some nice pop. Make sure you get some sauce on there. And here we have our salsa criolla. We can put a little bit on top for that acid, and the rest we can put off to the side so that people can take it as they want. All right, so double starch means crispy fries on top. That's all she wrote, people. This is our Lomo Saltado filled with bold, beautiful, strong flavors, and it's gonna pair well perfectly with our Chelada limon y sal. All right, I'm really looking forward to this first bite. That's perfect. I think I was able to basically get the wok flavor that I wanted, a nice sear on the meat, and yeah, everything came together really composed. Lomo I grew up eating in my house was a bit less traditional, had some ketchup in there as well. This one is a bit more upscale and refined. Of course, we took a lot of additional steps in making our own beef stock, making our own garlic and ginger puree. A bit of effort definitely pays dividends in terms of your final dish.